Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Dylan. Yaha. Dude, we watched the OVA for the Irresponsible Captain Tylor.
You mean Irresistible?
No, well, at this point, I keep tripping.
The two are synonymous.
Yes.
If you're a layabout, it's automatically attractive.
Hell yeah. So I looked online a little bit to try and figure out a bit about these OVAs because they're apparently they label them as 1 through 10, but there are 3 of them that are combined. So there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think technically in total. So 1 and 2 are combined, and there's 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 and 8 are combined, and then 7 and 8, and then 9 and 10 are combined. In case you at home wanted to follow along for the continuation of the story,
right?
The 1 and 2 OVA is combined into one called An Exceptional Episode, and then the continuation after that is 9 and 10 with From Here to Eternity. Yeah. But 3 through 7/8 are all like in between the series itself and follow certain characters in the middle of the story, give or take.
Cannot wait for you to see the rest of these.
Dude, I wasn't sure if I want to do an episode on all of these, but I would like to revisit 9 and 10 on the podcast, potentially if it's the continuation and potentially the culmination of the story itself. Have you seen all these?
Yes.
No way.
Yes, I have.
Okay. Do they all hold up?
You'll see.
Oh, come on. Come on.
I cannot. I will not say a damn word.
So I prefaced that here at the top because I know that at least one person in particular was wanting to watch this show. So if you haven't watched the show, this is the OVA that happens directly after.
You better have finished it by now.
The series.
Based on how you fucking freaked out about it.
Heck yeah.
You better be done by now.
Yeah. So anyways, this is the continuation of that series and thus the continuation of our podcast. We watched this OVA, which I think initially it had 2 different, because it was into 2 parts, it was released on 2 different days, but it's all in one called An Exceptional Episode.
And boy, was it.
Oh, man. Oh, man. At first, I had kind of a weird feeling about it.
Really?
Yeah. Because I knew that it had been some time since the ending of the show.
Right.
And I know that it ended on like a wahoo, yay, we succeeded. Like
there he goes again.
There he goes, yeah. There goes my hero. But I didn't quite, I think it may have said it in the title card, but as the movie was going along, I forgot how much time had passed.
I like how you said movie because that might as well be what this is.
I mean, I think the runtime was give or take an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Just about movie length.
Exactly. It felt like a movie. So as it was moving along, I've forgotten what the time frame was because it felt like our companions were a bit disjointed in a way and a bit grouchy. Everyone kind of felt like they were a bit on edge because, again, I think Tylor was kind of being a bit secretive for reasons that we'll discuss in a minute. But it kind of felt like the time was longer than I think it says several months. So maybe that, when I think about it in retrospect, maybe it is enough time for things to kind of feel a bit weird, a bit different, because like he's acting a bit different because of a secret mission that he kind of has been given. We'll talk about in a second. And
so being more vague than usual.
And which is impressive.
Yeah.
So like the team kind of gets that feeling from him, and that kind of lays the foundation for this quote unquote exceptional episode. And the crew doesn't feel like the crew. Like they like the whole like the partially because we just recently finished the show, I know the feeling, I know the hype of like, Lieutenant Yamato stepping out the way and going, what's the job, Captain? And of course everyone's like, yeah, everyone's like freaking out. It's like that was what we left on. And then now we're like hopping back in. We're at the bridge. We're going on this mission. Everyone's a bit like, it's just,
what's going on?
And you're like, is everyone okay? Like, everyone cheer up. Like, dang, like that was the feeling of it. So to kind of backtrack a little bit, in rare form,
right,
the Admiral is
confiding in Tylor,
entrusting
him with a secret mission.
Yeah, and first of all, I was like, "You feeling all right?"
Right.
And I think at one point in time, Tylor's like, "Are you drunk?"
Right. Yeah. No. By the tail end of the series, we see Mifune start to warm up to the idea of just keeping Tylor around.
Yeah. Maybe he ain't all bad.
Right. And this just really drives it home because this motherfucker is just like out in the middle of the ocean fishing.
Yeah.
Drinking some Evan Williams.
Yep. Branded whiskey. Yeah.
Right. He has Tylor like drop in.
Right.
In full gear. He has to swim to the fucking boat.
Right.
After which he starts recording the exchange between the two that just in case shit goes south, this will be your ticket out.
Right.
To know that you're innocent.
Yeah.
And he basically asks him, are we going to elaborate on what the mission is, or do you want
to? We could save some details, but basically like it gets very vague on purpose. You can tell there's a secret mission, and then of course like it kind of cuts between certain angles, and we don't get the full story, but you know that something is important.
Mifune has turned into a genie and is offering to grant a wish.
Yeah, I'll make your dream come true, buddy.
Right. If you can pull this shit off.
Hey, which I mean,
of all people, Mifune's on the level now. He knows.
Yeah, he knows. He's like, all right, if you pull this shit out of your ass.
There's one fucker I can trust to do this. Somehow, you're the one.
If you somehow pull this shit out of your ass, I'll make your dreams come true, damn it.
Bar none.
Right. But yeah, so that's kind of, that's the premise. And of course, he kind of talks about, what is your dream if it is to...
Everybody's got something.
And of course, what's your price?
Yeah.
And then it kind of...
At that point, we don't hear what he says.
Right.
And it's just back to the ship.
Yeah. But now, again, obviously us as the audience know that the reason why Tylor is probably being a bit strange is because now he's got this like little communicator type thing. It's like a little square disc type deal.
Right.
And
contains the mission info, like the
right.
bare necessities for the crew, but nothing else.
Right.
And that's it.
And of course, it was the recording of their conversation. So he has that stashed away in his pocket.
Right.
And then, and thus the mission begins. And that's when that leads me into what I was talking about a little earlier, is that he's a bit more, strange because, I think he's,
on his toes.
He is very lackadaisical and very carefree.
Oh yeah, there's no change in that attitude.
But now, like, he knows, I mean, he's not a complete idiot. Though people may question if he is an idiot or not. I don't think he's a complete idiot. I think he's actually kind of a genius in a lot of ways.
Right.
So he knows this is a secret and he can't go blabbing around. And even though he kind of talks around it a little bit, the crew is still kind of catching on, like, you're not really giving us the whole picture here, boss.
Don't you trust us?
Yeah, what's happening? And of course, in a classic TV trope, anime trope, I guess just entertainment trope, really, the lack of communication is abundant.
Right.
And not just like because of the secret mission, but like even saying something, even like fabricating a flamboyant lie to kind of like help appease them. Like that's not even done very well. He kind of has like stumbled across his words and said some things, and now like the crew is pissed off, in certain ways. And of course, that is some of the tension that this whole movie is based upon. So obviously it is kind of a trope, but I think it is kind of fun because this OVA, I think, is a little more serious in some areas than the show is. Yeah. But also I think still kind of combats it with the goofy nature, but not quite as much as the show did.
I cannot wait for you to see the rest of these fucking episodes.
Well, okay. Well, but am I wrong though? That's kind of like this one feels a little bit more toned down. I think in a good way, because I think we're dealing with some really important stuff and some I mean very, very great character development.
Oh, yeah.
So yes, there is this poor communication that is making things difficult,
Mm-hmm.
and as the viewer, you're like, just there's a better way of handling this. There's a better way of saying this. You could get around, and of course the characters don't, and that's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it entertaining.
Right.
I love that. In this, we get a real a different side of Lieutenant Yamato.
Yeah.
Yamamoto. Sorry, Yamato.
Right. You got a different space battleship on the brain.
I haven't seen that, and I want to see that at some point.
Oh, man. One of these days.
But I love that, like, Yamamoto is discovering his love language in a way, and is becoming infatuated with Yuriko, which is kind of interesting. So we get this kind of like, they're still obviously on the heels of the ending of the series. Again, I'm just going to say it, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it. We all know, I'm not going to stop saying it.
Forgive us.
Yeah. If you've heard the end of the last episode, we talked about that really sweet and intimate moment between Captain Tylor and Yuriko on the like near remains of the Tsuyokaze. So there's this like, will they, won't they kind of vibe at the top where you're like, and then of course, I don't want to say the movie plays into it, but like you could tell they're kind of leaning more into like maybe Yamamoto's going to come in and sweep her off her feet, and you're like, hey, what was his phrase? He was like, I'm a soft-hearted romantic man.
I'm a gentle romantic.
I'm a gentle romantic.
Right.
What would
I can't get angry. I can't fly off the handle.
What would a gentle romantic do in this situation?
Right.
Oh man, I love that. So, but yeah, I think it's a great start. This secret mission, it seems like the whole fleet is going to...
The entire fleet.
The entire fleet is going to go into war, is what it feels like.
At least the entire outer defense fleet.
Right.
They warp in front of the Melva, the flagship of the Railgun Empire. The Tsuyokaze breaks off and then warps in behind to target these supply ships that are bringing new weapons to the rest of the fleet. Now, they're also being assisted by another destroyer, I believe I can't remember if it was the Anami.
The Aranami.
Aranami? Okay.
I think it was the Aranami.
Gotcha.
Orange. Continue. I'll look it up.
Right. So, unfortunately, they've had a bit of a run-in with the crew of said ship before. At the top of the film.
Yep, in the bar.
Right. A couple of dudes swagger up from that ship to deliver the message that Mifune has requested Tylor's presence. And after Tylor leaves, I can only assume that the bastards mouth off a bit too much and a fight breaks out. Because whenever Tylor gets back, the crew is waiting to greet him like at the dock, and they're all like bruised and beat up.
Yeah.
Covered in bandages. The twins have crutches.
Yeah. The crew defending Tylor against the insults from the Aranami.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah.
But
they don't say why they got into the fight initially.
Right.
Which I think is so fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Because they just want to hide it from him because they don't want him to know what they think of him.
Right. And it was it was very mean things about Tylor and kind of the crew.
Right. The basic things that anyone
of course
would say about the dude. The things that the admirals have said ad nauseum.
Right, to his face.
Yeah. Right. So of course it's like, well, yeah, but that's all like fucking true.
Right.
That's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So funny.
And man, what a cool ship that is,
dude!
It's like a special forces. Like they're all clad in black.
Oh yeah!
So you're like, oh hell yeah!
Mm-hmm.
They got nice armor. They got the look. They
come rolling. Is impeccable.
They come rolling up, and they're like nice, sleek, all black ship with little red accents. You're like, hell yeah!
That's it. But
I want to be part of their crew.
Yeah, for real. Sign me up.
Sign me
At
up.
least give me a uniform.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right. So yeah, he's just like, yeah, you know, it is what it is.
Right.
And
I
they're
don't care.
oh, okay. I'm trying to remember what happens directly after that. After I know they start to move in. The Soyokaze departs from the rest of the fleet.
Dom immediately starts looking for them.
Yeah, they all post
As
up. And he's
soon
like,
as the
it's
fleet rolls
impossible.
up,
We can't find it.
Where the fuck is he? I know he's here.
You have the capital ship in this entire fleet, and he's like, "Where's the Soyokaze?
Right.
It's impossible. I can't find it."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh man, this man's tripping."
Mm-hmm.
I will say right now before we continue, Dom's development in this OVA,
Right.
my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It just further adds upon this character that we have joked about on this podcast a couple of times.
He's
and
one of the best.
I can't wait to get into it more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so mad. Anyways, we'll get there.
So
Yeah. So
once they pull up in front of these supply ships with the Aranami,
right.
Tyler goes over the loudspeaker and is like, "Hey,
Surrender
give up."
immediately.
And they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?
what's happening?
This isn't part of the operation."
Yeah.
So, with them being on such a tight timetable,
Right.
the Aranami is like, "We have to fire. If you don't open fire and like back up, we're gonna fire up on you."
Right.
So they do that.
Mm-hmm.
Soyokaze gets caught up in the explosion, and they're just left.
Yep.
To drift in the midst of the entire enemy fleet.
Literally drift because I think their gravitation system gets knocked out. So they're all just floating around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then because this whole time while Tylor is doing that, the crew is like actively speaking against him.
What are
being
you
like,
doing?
Yeah, stop. Which I mean is par for the course at this point. But for some reason they get a little bit more upset with him this time because he's not talking to them.
Right.
He's not consulting with them.
Right. Not being honest.
Right. And so again, they're still shifty about it. But then this is where the whole crew gets captured by the rock.
By Dom.
By Dom. By Dom.
Thankfully.
Which is, it's so great.
Mm-hmm.
And they get held captive.
For a good while.
Oh, yeah. And of course, the running talk of the town is still that this empire doesn't keep any prisoners. They execute them.
Whoever they capture, they kill.
Right. And so when they start talking about the fact that, like, we're going to have, like, peaceful interrogations, we're just going to have you guys...
If you're forthright and honest
Yeah,
with
exactly. And of course, Tylor's not with them.
Right.
So he's separate. It's they're all in this cage and they're like, what the hell's going on? What's happening? And of course, there's this whole back and forth too about, what's going on. And then all throughout while this is going on, there's still this this relationship between Tylor and Yuriko is still kind of like a potential, but we don't really know. And a lot of people are kind of talking bad about Tylor to her, and how he's kind of a dog, and he's just that's what men are this way, and whatever. And so you can tell that she's like it's getting to her head. And Yamamoto's really trying his best. He's putting his best foot forward. He's trying to get in there and just trying to be a respectful person. So in this cage, like that heightens even more, where they're starting the crew is starting to speculate because they know the relationship that that Tylor's had with the Empress in the past. So they're definitely like, oh, bro, this guy,
he's gonna sell us out. He's gonna make some kind of fucking deal.
He's just trying to get some and get out. Who knows what's happening? And of course, the other Marines, as we've talked about, like literally the band of bandits, really, are like, bruh. There was this one time I had 3 dates. One of them I talked to for so long. The second one, I just repeated what I said to the first one. And the third one, I ran out of things to say.
Didn't have any more things.
And I just didn't care. And it was like, and so again, it's all these, the kind of the juxtaposition between that side of the cage and the other side. Their angst is becoming rampant. Some of them they've all been pretty honest
Right.
in this interrogation.
As best as they can be.
Bruh. I don't some of them got a bit wild.
Yeah, the Marines definitely give him a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
Poor fucking Dom, dude.
Dude,
Gets
I love
knocked
it.
upside the head.
Yeah. What is the fighter pilot guy? I can't remember his name, but he's the guy who like apparently doesn't like women. And of course he gets put bruh the baddest bitch.
Right.
Biggest titties comes walking up in there and is like,
you sure you can't tell me anything?
Yeah. And he just immediately like
It's like, get away from me.
Yeah. Like, okay.
Fucking passes out.
She like looks over to Cameron and is like, I guess sex appeal doesn't work on him.
Yeah, that ain't gonna fly.
And I was like, damn, all right. I mean, you talk about fumbling it, dude. You fumbled it hard. It was right there in front of you.
Nah, he can't do it.
Nah, he can't do it. He couldn't even try. But and we kind of get some flashes over to Tylor, and I feel like Dom's kind of taken a different tone at the top. Like whenever we first see him with the captain, it just feels a bit different. I feel like he was more a quiet confidence towards him, cordial.
Least,
yeah.
Offers a drink.
Yeah, right. And so this time it feels a lot more like they're kind of back to being, rivals in a way, which I think is kind of fun. But man,
the most disastrous,
bruh,
like borderline, like life-ending shit.
Yeah,
ends up happening.
Dom, dude, he's trying his best to protect the Empress.
Right.
I think he really does have her best interest in heart, and I don't think he has any kind of any personal gain out of it. But man,
this poor bastard.
He's like, now's the time. We got him where we want him, and then to preface before this, this whole interaction and the capturing of the crew,
right?
The Empress herself was like, I want a vacation. And so Dom is
quick sabbatical.
Right. And Dom's like, we can figure something out.
Right. We could spare you some time.
And of course, Wang.
Fucking Wang.
Wang comes into the picture and is like,
absolutely not.
There's no way. We can't have that.
Yeah.
The front lines,
what
morale's
are the
going to
men gonna
drop.
think?
Nah. And of course, I will say, Dom made some great points.
Oh, yeah.
He's like,
claps back.
She can do whatever the hell she wants.
Right. She's the Empress.
And first of all, she could take a little time off.
You think the soldiers would want her to sacrifice her good health?
Right. The one thing he said that I was like was really great. She's like, she just wants to take a little bit of time off, and that's something that the people on the front line get.
Right.
Why can't she get that? And I was like, damn right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And she's like, and ain't nobody on the front line got to know her.
Right. We don't know to divulge every facet of her personal life.
Right. And he still ain't having it. But I'm like, I mean,
fuck you, Wang.
I was like, if I had to take a vote, biases aside between Dom, I would be like, I mean, he's kind of proving a point. I mean, he's making some good points here. I mean, I like this guy a lot.
I cannot disagree.
I mean, hey, she can take a few days off. Right. But yes, I know we're in the middle of a situation, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. She gets some time away. She signs some sort of document that,
right. Of course, Wang's prime concern is who's going to sit in the big chair.
Of course.
Right.
Snake.
So they give him provisional command of the Empire.
Which I think is
the biggest mistake you could possibly make.
So while he has command is when the Suyokaze gets taken.
Tylor is brought in front of him.
Oh, man.
And it's just like, back again, are we? Well, thankfully, the Empress isn't going to be as lenient.
Right. Because she's away.
Right. Yeah, so
you're not going to be.
You got to deal with my dumb ass.
Yeah. And guess what? Execution of all of you.
Death for you immediately.
All of you.
And I was just like, no.
Yeah. At one point, he's like, I think at one point he says, "Well, that's very funny, but let's just wait for the Empress to get here.
Go ahead and send me to her."
Yeah. So, anyways,
So.
This whole conversation happens with Dom and him, and they're, giving their back and forth.
Right.
And then he's like, just let me have like a private meeting with Aslan, the Empress.
Like, what did you call
yeah,
her?
yeah. It's like, all right.
Right.
So then he goes over to this vacation spot, just like in the series. There's like this,
right, the recreational center.
Right. Which is kind of like what was it in Star Trek? I never actually watched it, but I always hear people talking about it.
Simulation room.
Yeah. But I thought the holodeck.
Oh, right.
The holodeck. You can like make it be whatever you want it to be and all that. I think it functionally works kind of the same way. You can walk in there. There's like a little green orb. You touch it, and of course the space around you changes, and you're in a nice poolside resort in paradise. Mm-hmm. So that's where Dom walks in.
Yeah,
and of course the Empress is lounging on a little pool floaty.
Right. Now, upon Dom's entrance, she's like, "How dare you?
Yes,
even you have to knock before you enter."
Yeah.
And then he's like,
I beg your pardon.
Tyler's here. And she's like, what?
Yeah. He says specifically, he's like, I have the entire crew of the Soyokaze held hostage. Mm-hmm. And Tyler is wanting a meeting with you. And she's like,
she's like, get him in here.
Yeah.
But then
turns.
Right.
She's like, wait, you said the whole crew? Mm-hmm. Of the Soyokaze?
And that means that woman is there too.
Yuriko is there, isn't she?
Yeah, so then she's immediately like downtrodden and like, never mind.
Yeah. In fact, just leave him.
Right.
And then
he's like, are you sure?
Yeah. He even kind of like shifts his position.
Where's this coming from?
Yeah, he's still kneeling. He kind of like shifts his position towards her, like,
gives her a side eye, like, what the hell did you say?
Are you sure? And I mean, I don't mean this as a slight on anyone. Mm-hmm. I just have experienced this firsthand.
Choose your words carefully.
In the most teenage girl thing ever. Mm-hmm. She's like, he begins to walk away, and she's like, no, wait.
Right, yeah.
Just, yes, like, bring him in here. And then he's like, are you? And she's like, no, I don't ever want to see him. I can't stand to see his face.
Yeah.
And then
it just goes back and forth.
Yeah, for just like 2 or 3 more times. And Dom's just sitting there like I died. And at this point, I think he already has.
Right, he realizes.
He already has him in transit.
Mm-hmm. Like, he's already on his way over.
It just is what it is.
Like,
and she's like, all right, I guess.
Mm. So they're just chilling at the bar, making drinks.
Yep. Oh, man.
I cannot get over how fucking casual these two end up being while simultaneously being like enemy captains on opposite sides.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's hilarious to me.
I love it.
And as soon as she enters, she's all dolled up.
Oh, yeah.
In this like I Dream of Jeannie getup.
100%. Yeah, looking really good. And of course, in like a classic move, Tyler turns around, is holding like a metal goblet of some sort of alien wine.
Yeah.
And and of course in a comedic effect just like slips out of his hand. He's like
drops that shit.
Humming.
And after which Dom leaves them for a private conversation.
Yeah.
We don't hear what Tyler says or asks specifically.
Yeah, right.
But she fucking explodes.
Oh, she's like to kind of set this a little bit too. Whenever she's like walking up, she looks over at Dom and is like, "Please let us have this private moment together." And he's like,
okay,
what?
Sure."
And then of course he walks away, but is still in earshot, or is at a safe distance.
Right?
Away.
Yeah, he's just chilling out behind a pillar, making sure nothing goes wrong.
100%. So whenever they start talking, it starts off as this like little cute. A reuniting moment where they're both like, "Oh, I've kind of missed you," like it's been a while, and they're kind of being playful and coy. And then, of course, in Tyler's defense, he went there to have a conversation with her about something.
Right.
We're assuming it's the secret mission side of things potentially.
Right.
At least that's what I was thinking in this moment. And they start to talk for a little bit, and she's like, "So what do you want to talk about?" And he's like, let's not. But again, because what a guy. He doesn't want to ruin the moment.
Right.
He's like, actually, I kind of just
This is taking a turn that I was
he's like actually
not
kind of
really expecting.
you
you know
look
what I mean?
you look so beautiful right now.
Right.
We're having some nice wine. It's like we don't need to worry about that right now.
I hate to put a stopper on this.
Let's not talk about work while we're sitting here having this
Right.
little date together. And we didn't say that, but that's the vibe where he's like, let's not bring this moment down. And she's like, no, tell me. Come on, what'd you come all this way to tell me? And then that's when it cuts away to Dom. And Dom's like, what? Excuse me. Slaps him. And of course, at this point, he's obviously referred to her as, Empress and Your Highness.
Little Aslan.
Add Little Aslan, that kind of stuff. And so she's like, no, please just call me Aslan. I feel like that's we've got to that point now where we can just we're on a close first name basis. You ain't gotta, because then she goes from calling him the pet name of Paco Paco to just Tylor. So we're like, oh damn, we're getting a little serious here. So at this point,
At the very least, first name basis.
right. We're getting a little serious. She freaks out.
Yeah.
I think she hits him or something or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Dom
says she hates him, and then subsequently everyone.
The most teenage girl shit ever.
Right. Dom is visibly taken aback. It's
pissed
like,
off. What did you say?
What the fuck did you do?
And he looks over and is like, Aslan, what the hell? And he's like, how dare that's
Your Highness.
To
you, sir.
And then, of course, smash cut.
Oh, yeah.
Tylor's hanging up by his ankles.
Getting whipped.
Getting the shit whipped out of him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro.
Putting Indiana Jones to shame.
I mean, Dom is like, what the hell did you say?
Tell me.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
We're taking a turn here.
And of course, he ain't budging.
No, he's like, it's a secret between us. Between the two of us.
I can't tell you. You just gotta trust me. I can't tell you, please.
And he's like, I've never seen Dom so pissed.
Oh, yeah. That's
my man. He's
the angriest he's ever been.
He's got those eyes like, damn, I think he's gonna kill me here.
Right. So after how I don't know how many volleys of whip cracks he's suffered, but after this one, the recorder falls out of his pocket.
Right, because he's upside down.
Right. And then Shiahs takes it away to be analyzed to see if there's anything they can glean from it.
Of course.
So already, he's not in a good situation.
No. At this point, you're like, man, he's royally screwed this whole thing up.
Right. Everything's going to shit.
Oh yeah, we're taking a hard left here.
So he is just being relentlessly beaten until Azalin comes back remorseful at her outburst.
And this moment is kind of hard. She walks in and she's at a distance, and of course at this point, this is where Tylor really begins to scream, and he's like, "No!" and she's like, and he's like, "Tell me!" And it's like this really intense moment where it's like this climax of the beating moment where he's just like screaming out in pain, and she's like walking up, and she's like, "Oh no!
Wait!
Yeah, wait!"
Yeah. And man,
oh shit!
The worst possible thing that could have happened.
Yep.
Dom inadvertently strikes the Empress with this fucking whip.
Yep. Across the
bleeding
face.
from the cheek.
Yeah.
And he's frozen.
Oh, understandably.
Right.
It hits her so hard the necklace she was wearing breaks, like the
shatters.
beads flies off, and of course, so you're just like in this moment she's just standing there with her face cocked to the side, or post whipping.
Oh yeah.
And then the blood shows up, and of course he's just like,
what have I done?
Oh my God. You talking about screwing shit up.
Because up to this point, Dom has been the pinnacle of what I would consider a royal guard.
Right.
A right-hand man that you always want at your side.
Yeah.
For him to strike, even by accident, the focus of his guardianship is I'd be beside myself.
Yeah.
I'd start whipping myself.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And then this next part is my favorite. Aslam goes over to Tylor and is like, I'm so sorry. I'm ready for a talk. I didn't mean to.
Right. I'll do anything. If you forgive me, please.
Yeah, right. And then he just goes, and then
he just fucking feigns to faint.
Yeah. Because he's upside down, his head kind of falls up, and and his hands go from being a little tense to drooping.
Right.
And just like, and that just, and she's like, oh no,
Right.
I'll do anything. And he's like,
You mean it?
You mean it? He perks back up.
Right.
Oh man.
It's like, okay, then hear me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. Please.
Yeah. And then of course Dom's, she's like, release him.
Mm-hmm.
Release all of them.
Like, okay.
And Dom's like,
as you wish.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, man, Dom's going through it right now.
Immediately pours
like,
up and then goes to
dude,
Shias. Like,
yeah.
did you find anything out? She's like, no, sir, not a thing. It's like, good. Me the fuck neither.
I don't understand. I don't understand anything.
Right.
A man chugs back the last one and throws the cup on the
going
ground.
to get his fucking crew out. Release them.
Oh shit, man. Dude.
This poor bastard,
Yep.
man.
And then of course we get to this moment where Tylor is all dressed up in the former emperor's clothes.
Oh God.
The empress's father's old regalia. And she's talking with him. They're having this really sentimental moment. They're catching up for a little
Just
bit.
a heart to heart.
Yeah, and they start talking about some other stuff and all that kind of thing. And oh
What's
man,
your favorite movie?
yeah.
Oh man,
What was it? It was Roman Vacation or something like that, or Roman.
I don't remember.
She mentioned Audrey Hepburn, so I know it's probably a real movie, like an
really
IRL movie. So, I think it's an older movie. Obviously, I've never heard of it, but
during this,
yeah,
he divulges what he's here for,
right?
What he needs to do and how he needs her help to do it.
Yeah.
So that's all squared away and good to go.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, they're
She's
just
like,
chilling out now.
Yeah, she's just cool with it.
Right. And she's
oh man,
just pouring her heart out to this guy. Like, you don't have to leave. You could just stay.
Yeah.
I could keep you like before.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yep, you sure could, but
can't.
It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. Because before he did have like a chip in his brain.
Right. He was brainwashed.
He was brainwashed.
By Wang.
By Wang.
He was Wang washed.
Oh God. I don't like that. Not me being Wang washed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, like that's potentially why he was just so like nonchalant about being her pet. Whereas now he's a little bit more level headed and he's like, I could, but
that's not what I want.
It's not here. Yeah, that's not what I'm here for.
Right. So after this.
Yeah.
She gets up.
And in the most PG way, she reveals herself to him.
Strips.
Yep. And at that point,
and it's like,
okay, hey,
I want you to remember me as I am now.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I want you to get a good long look at my physique. And then
at the worst possible time.
Wait. But she even says like, I want you just to hold me and just never let me go. Like, just hold me so tight.
Right. Like I'm about to fall apart.
Yeah. And of course,
Tylor
there like, Tylor is just like, he's just like, and he hasn't said anything, hasn't moved, nothing has happened. And she's just standing there. And then
Dom.
He's like, and I mean, in the most comedic way and the most probably authentic way, he walks in and before he even gets a full understanding, he's like, Your Highness, I just wanted to apologize for, and then before he even finishes his sentence, he's like,
he sees the situation and is just
the first
filled with rage. Right. Yeah. You lecherous fiend.
Yeah, how dare you?
Right.
Oh man. It's crazy.
And then they're back. We see Tylor ragged as shit.
Oh, yeah.
Dom obliterated this man before he brought him back to the crew.
Right. Throws him in the cage, and of course, he has got this shit-eating grin on.
Right.
And it's like, oh, man.
Yeah.
And the whole crew's like, what happened to you?
What did they do to you?
Are you okay? Did they beat you? And he's like, nah.
It's like, I didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything. Everything's all good. I didn't get tortured. Everything's fine.
Right. So, of course, they immediately go from concern to completely
He's
like,
rat us out.
Fucking to hell with this dude.
Yeah. He rat us out.
Right. And then he says, I got a feeling, though, that we're all going to get out of here scot-free.
Yeah, we're going to be fine.
Right. So, of course, they start celebrating, and it's like, but what if What if he's just delusional? What if they tortured him so much that he's just saying what he wants to hear?
Yeah.
Sure enough, before Shihas is able to get to
Right.
the rest of the crew and inform them of their release,
Yeah.
they begin the execution process.
Yeah.
They've constructed
Right.
gallows
Yep.
for them to be hanged from.
Right. On like a little stage.
Yeah.
Yep.
And before they're able to be released, they start telling them to like line up and get ready.
Yep.
But Yamamoto is singled out as the first to be executed, but not before Yuriko offers to take his place.
Right.
Real show of integrity.
Yep. And it's also a little bit, it's a little hard because you're like, damn,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen now.
Oh, yeah. So thankfully, Shihas is able to get there. Yeah. And it's like, you're all free to go, get the fuck out.
Right.
It's like,
and they're like, what? And I'm pretty sure she looks at Yamamoto and is like,
your execution's been canceled.
Yeah.
Be happy.
Be happy.
And he's just like, so I
don't think I can.
Yeah. Somehow I just can't.
Also, need I remind you that Shihas is like also kind of like, I think, kind of getting a little bit of an eye for
slowly warming
Yamamoto
up to the guy.
I think she really likes Yamamoto. And again, you talk about fumbling the bag.
Oh, man.
Not nearly as bad, but man,
right.
He's
got his good points and his bad.
Right. But I'm just talking about I'm talking about for my personal self. You got a tall, strong baddie like that.
Ain't no fucking way.
Yeah, you talk about.
I'm letting that shit die, dude.
I'm just saying.
Tall and strong, sign me up. She's got horns.
I just feel like at that point you're like, even if I got the whiff that she's giving me the inch, I'm taking the whole mile.
Right.
Lady. That's all it takes. So
if I defected, could I serve under you, perhaps?
Yeah. Could you be my twin? Yeah. So, anyways, like, so she's kind of getting an eye towards him, and this is the kind of the switch where like Yamamoto is kind of going from like it's nice to be a gentle romantic to like she's like anybody who would fall for a troubled woman like that is weak.
Right.
You're
Nothing but a loser.
You're a strong man. You got good integrity.
Right.
Women like it when a man's like strong and powerful and stands up.
She describes it as like a gentleman is boring and can only ever be like a friend.
Right.
And she lays it on him like you got to be strong if you want to earn the affections of a woman.
Right.
And then she describes him as like being the first soldier she's met who cannot lie.
Right.
Which is, I would consider a point in his favor because he's very upfront.
Yeah.
Takes things to heart and at face value more often than not.
Yeah.
Which is why I think he works so well with Tylor as a captain.
Right.
Because he may be dissuaded from his leadership every so often and be like, what is he doing?
What is happening?
How can this possibly be happening right now? To, I trust this man implicitly with my life even. With everyone's lives.
Right.
I'll do anything he says.
I'm just cool with it.
Right. So it's a nice juxtaposition for someone to actually say that to his face.
Yeah.
And like with Yuriko's like gentleman gentle romantic comments.
Right.
Every time she says that in his head, he'll be like, I'm a gentle romantic. I wouldn't do this. And then he'll be like, I can't lie.
Yeah.
He takes this shit like internally. He'll repeat it like in his head, just like almost like a mantra.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a great character, and at this time, it was exciting to see that Shihas is kind of taking a liking to him because I'm like, man,
right? At least in some regard,
right. There's
as much as she can like an enemy soldier.
100%. I like the fact that someone's really appreciating him for his true character, and I think that's really cool. But anyways, they get out.
Dom goes to inform the Empress that the debt has been repaid.
Yep.
Wang is dethroned.
Yep.
In the funniest fucking way possible.
Dude, he's literally begging at a certain point.
For the duration of this vacation, you've given me acting command of the Empire. It's like, no, forget it. But I have you signed this paper right here.
Nope.
Tear it up.
Throw it away.
Right. It's
Yep.
so funny.
It's great.
Mhm.
And also a good change of character for Azalin a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
She's kind of depicted as like a little timid. She's also very young and not knowing. And so at this point, depending on how the conversation has gone that we don't quite know about or what the secret plan is, it's comedic, but she also like yanks the scepter out of his hand and is like, nope.
Right.
Get out. And he's like, no, but no. And he's
Out of
like,
my chair,
"No,
bitch."
Get out. Yeah. I love because while that's going on, Dom's also there. And I think at one point in time he says, I have a question.
Right.
And he's like,
Tell me why.
Yeah, why? What's going on?
I cannot act unless you give me a reason.
Right. And she's like, I'm the Empress and I say so, that's why.
Right.
Get out.
Yeah.
Shit's happening.
So. And he asks her, do you really think soldiers can act on orders without a basis? And she snaps back with, I think people should act according to their hearts.
Yep. Tylor has saved my life. Tylor and I think the Soyokaze has saved my life 3 times.
3.
Count it 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they deserve that.
Right. But Dom ain't having it.
And of course,
He's reached his breaking point.
Oh, yeah. My man's lost it.
Mm-hmm. He immediately begins his pursuit against the Soyokaze and starts obliterating them.
Oh, yeah.
With these fancy new bombs.
Yeah. Which the new weapon in question, whenever the energy shield happens, this bomb sticks to the shield
and is able to bypass it entirely.
Right.
And goes into the ship.
It teleports inside the hull of the ship, and so they start blowing up like grenades inside this.
Oh, yeah.
Inside the hull.
Super effective.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. So, as it's being destroyed.
Oh, we forgot to say that also before that whole attack happens, the entire crew diplomatically vote to nix command of Captain Tylor.
Mm-hmm.
They all come to a vote and they're like unanimously,
yep,
except for one vote, which is probably Tylor,
probably
say we don't want you as captain anymore.
Yeah. After what just happened,
yep,
we thought you trusted us enough that you could be upfront and honest about everything, no matter what.
And you're being sneaky. And of course, they downright say, we think that you sold us out to get us free. So they now have secrets on us that to be able to save us.
Right. So Tyler's just chilling out.
Yeah.
As a civilian on the ship.
He doesn't even get mad. Right. He's just like,
no, he doesn't sweat it.
In fact, I think he gets a bit sad. He kind of gets like a bit like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Is what it is.
Yeah. A bit melancholic. And then just kind of, before you know, and he's chilling in the baths.
Hits the baths.
He's like, yeah.
Chilling out in the sauna.
He's chilling out.
Right.
And then Yuriko comes in and is like,
what happened?
We expect you to get a little angry.
Right.
We were hoping that you would like kind of take offense to the fact that all of us don't want you as the captain.
Right. And then he's just like, why?
Yeah. She's like, we've been together through so much. You came back.
Everybody came back for you.
Right. And now it feels like you're being so secretive, and we think that you're in cahoots with the enemy to spite all of us and that kind of stuff. And then in a very rare moment, he stands up and says, "You morons!"
Right.
"You idiots!" And starts like saying
Flies
something.
Off the handle.
Yeah. And of course, she like sneaks around the wall a little bit. Is like, "Oh shit!"
Right. And he's like, "Was that good?"
Yeah. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you want?
Right.
You want to blow off the handles and get pissed off at you guys?
Yeah.
What's the use in that?
No, thank you.
It ain't me.
Not my style.
If you guys don't want me to be your captain, that's fine. Is what it is.
Yep.
And all the while, he's naked. And he's just like
right.
He's just like swimming, like
right, having a grand old time.
Yeah, just having a moment. And she's like, I just don't fully understand.
Right, he's absolutely ecstatic. He's like, I did what I had to do. My wish is gonna get granted.
Yeah, I completed my job.
Right. But yeah. So
at this point, to kind of go back, this is where the attack starts to happen. Bombs or it starts off, the shield's not on, just regular laser blast shooting the hole,
getting toe up.
The alarms start going off. Tylor gets literally launched out of the bathtub at a certain point in time.
Yeah, and he's running, nothing but a towel.
Yeah, running to the bridge.
To the bridge. Yeah,
even though he's not the captain, him and Yuriko are still running to the bridge.
And man, it's dire straits. Yamamoto is forthright in that we have to fire back or we're gonna die.
Yeah.
But Tyler walks up and is just like, nah, don't do it. Trust the process. You know me.
and I just love that. Like, I love that everyone that we all know he's not the captain.
Mm-hmm. But they can't help but follow his word.
Yeah. But the second he stands there, even if he's in a towel, he's standing there and he's like, don't you dare fire back.
Right.
And he's like, in fact, put the shields up. And of course they're like, what? And he's like, we don't have time. Hurry. Put the shields up. They're like, oh, okay, fine. So they put the shields up. And this is where that new tech comes in. Bounces inside the shields. And of course now it's the hole's being exploded. And of course,
absolutely devastated.
Yamamoto's like, we have to fire back. You are no longer the captain. And it's like, don't
do it.
Don't stand in the way of my first and final, order. And of course, he's like, don't you dare.
Right.
And everyone's like, all right, okay,
yeah, fine.
Everyone's like, oh, okay, just trust the process, I guess.
Right.
Trust the process.
I'm putting my life in your hands again. Yeah.
There's a really bad. One of the bombs ends up in the bridge and blows up some and blasts Tylor back.
Right, gets nailed with some shrapnel.
Yeah. And he's just like, hold out, hold out,
just don't do anything.
Yeah.
After a certain point, they realize he's wounded.
Yeah. And
everybody's just sitting there like in shock.
Yeah.
It's so fucking, oh my God. I can only imagine what's going through their heads.
Yeah.
You're just seeing like everyone you care about surrounding you.
Yep.
As you're bleeding out.
Yep. That's going to be terrifying.
Jesus Christ.
He's like, turn off the shields.
Right.
And all of a sudden the bombs start bouncing off the hull.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, holy. Right. And this is the switch where Yamamoto's like, oh my God. I was like,
I cannot fucking believe it.
I just got to trust the captain.
Right, yeah.
Oh, man.
At that point, Dom switched to regular weaponry and they're still like fucking the ship up like nobody's business. But of course, Tyler still does not give the signal to fire back and just asks everyone to sing a little song
they
heard at that little, I wouldn't know what you call it, like I guess an opera that they were at the start of the film.
I thought it was like a bar type situation. Maybe
they definitely had drinks and like food and stuff.
Maybe they were like
up on like a balcony of some sort.
I don't know.
But yeah,
the kind of theme song that opens up this movie is like a nice ballad.
Oh yeah,
it's really cool. And this is what they all start singing as a crew together, and you're like, oh.
And eventually they sing hard enough to pull a fucking macross, and even the enemy like stops. Like, what the fuck are they doing?
What's happening? yeah, damn.
Yeah.
All right.
So
the power of singing.
Exactly.
Yep.
Music will save us.
Right.
And it does.
And it does.
That's the most insane part about this.
I love how even there's still some cutbacks to Dom, and he's like, why? What's going on?
Right. And at that point, he withdraws.
Yep.
It goes back to the Empress's like on his knees.
He's like, why?
Like, what the fuck?
He's like, I'm so distraught.
I don't understand what I'm doing anymore.
Yeah. And then, of course, I love how the Empress puts a hand on his shoulder and is like, I'm sorry I had to put you through that. Right. Like, sorry I had to put you through that, man. He's like, I don't understand.
Right.
It's great.
So he's able to make it back. The Aranami is able to retrieve them, get the medical attention, start repairs on the ship, all that.
Right.
And in the most baffling turn, the Marines hear the crew members of the Aranami like talking smack, like, oh, they learned a fucking lesson.
Yeah.
How's your first lose taste, huh? And of course, the main man, Mohawk, turns around, like straight up growls as he does. Like surrounds these dudes and is like, are you from the Aranami?
Yeah, and they're like,
And he like puts his hand and is like, thanks for coming to save us. We owe you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the fuck are you?
What
Right? Oh, man.
I don't understand what's happening here.
Yeah. It's so fucking good, dude.
Right. And this is where this is the climax of the film right here. They've been trying to get this secret pad.
Oh shit, yeah, that's right. That happened during like after they stopped singing.
They're trying their best to get this little data pad open. Not the Dom and what's her name?
Shia
couldn't get it open. It's a little bit banged up because you like tried to force her way into it.
Dude, whenever they were trying to figure out the password.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Oh man. They're saying all kinds of bullshit and they can't get the thing open.
Right.
And then at the very end they're like you know what? It doesn't even matter. Just
erase it.
Just erase the data.
And as soon as he types up erase data, that's what the password is.
Right.
For some reason.
Hey.
So
it's Tylor.
Right. As soon as it opens up, we hear what his wish was and how he actually did.
We get the full conversation in recorded format like at the beginning where he's like, here's your secret mission. And then, of course, we get the actual mission where it's like, we want to establish peace.
Right. We want you to be captured by the Empire. Get in touch with the Empress and see if there's any possible way we can end the war peacefully.
Right.
Which is insane coming from Mifune.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying at the top of the episode where I'm like, you want to talk about rare form? My man's out here like, hey, I want you to try and get captured and try and establish peace. I'm like, are you
drunk?
And that's what, right. Because directly after he's like, are you drunk? And I was like, that's what I'm thinking.
Out of all people.
I never would have guessed.
Oh yeah.
I used to be so annoyed by him and so frustrated. And at this moment, I'm like,
came right around.
Like, you know what? Maybe it ain't so bad, my man.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I like that.
Yeah.
So anyways, he's like, I can make you do this successfully somehow, and I'll make your dream
against
come true.
all odds.
Against all odds. And I'll make your wish come true. And he's like, damn. All right.
First things first, my whole crew.
Yeah.
Getting a fucking raise.
Yep.
For putting up with me and my bullshit.
Yeah.
And second, I just want to retire.
Yep.
Live a nice, quiet life. Raise a family with the woman I love.
Yep.
Take a wild fucking guess.
I feel like I knew who it was, but at the same time, I'm also like, I think I learned more in this movie, the real relationship between him and Aslan. At first in the episodes, I forgot that he was kind of brainwashed, so I thought that he really did care about her, and I think he does. Like, I think he does kind of care about her to an extent.
Yeah.
She, I think, really loves him. But like,
absolutely infatuated.
Right. But I was still concerned about like, where does his allegiance lie? Because I do think that he cares about Yuriko, but I don't think he shows it quite as much as he would for Aslan. So that was why. But whenever he says it at the very end, he's like, with the woman I love. And of course it cuts out a little bit, but he says Yuriko star.
Just enough to make it out.
Yeah. And she's there like,
Yep. You're in now, lady.
Yep.
You got it.
You got it. You got what you asked for. Or you got what you were not asking for, but what you wanted deep down.
So we cut to Tylor. Passed out in his hospital bed. He's slowly waking up.
Succumbing to his wounds, but like kind of doing a little bit better.
Right. Sees Yuriko.
Yeah.
Slowly pans up and she's wearing the same kind of fucking glasses he was whenever he came back.
Just before that though, what did the Admiral say? Because the Admiral does come in before the whole crew gets there and he does say something to him. I forgot. He like salutes him and he's like,
know that I, Admiral Mifune, salute you from the bottom of my heart.
Damn.
Let the rest of the crew know that I do.
Yeah.
So like he's he's got help from the brass, like no matter what he fucking does.
The one person who was against him
believes in that motherfucker.
Oh, dude, and it's like, oh man,
he could not be more set up.
Holy
shit, it's perfect.
It's great. It's perfect. So, anyways, then as you're saying, he wasn't conscious for that moment.
Right. He comes to, sees Yuriko and the rest of the crew. Got those same fucking glasses.
Yeah, he was wearing at the top of the movie.
Now, it cuts out, like, dialogue-wise, but I can only assume Yuriko says, I love you.
Okay.
At the tail end of it. And cuts to white, and then we see the Soakaze surrounded by all the medical ships and the Aranami, and credits.
So I didn't make out that the audio had cut out. So I thought that she was just holding out this flower and wasn't saying anything yet. And then out of nowhere, he just begins to pass out again, as if insinuating that he then died right there. And so so for a moment there, I was like, I thought that we're ending on this happy note. For a second there, Yuriko's just standing there and she has this flower and she's holding it out to him. And of course, all the crew's there. They're taking off their glasses. And they're like, oh, look how cool we are. And all of a sudden, it just like fades to white and it goes like, and of course, the music gets kind of tense.
Right.
Like just for a brief, like a little stab of like, and you're like, oh, what? So for a brief moment, I was like, and of course the camera pans out and there's like a bunch of medical ships around the Soakaze. the Aranami's there, and it all just kind of fades out as like the music swells, and I'm like,
Right.
Don't tell me he just died right there on the table where he's like the whole crew's running. He's like, I can die peacefully.
No, you can't.
I was like, please don't tell me that's what happens.
Yeah.
But anyways, like as you were saying, I think she mouths something to him, and of course it sends him into shock, and he passes back out again.
Right.
Is what I think actually happens. But for a second there, I thought that he died, and I was like, bruh, ain't no way you can't do me dirty like that. But yeah.
Oh man,
I love this show so much, and these OVAs are really, really solidifying this show as one of my tops, dude.
You fucking wait.
I know. Are you referring to the culmination at the end, or are you referring to all of them?
All of it.
All of it.
Yes.
Damn. Holy shit! I can't wait, dude.
Oh yeah.
I think this is because. Oh my gosh. You know I always want a little bit more.
Right.
I love me some anime. I love all these, and sometimes we do get an OVA, or we get a little bit of an extra, show, or sometimes it extends long. But right now, I think the series did a great job. I love it. It makes me feel happy.
Yeah.
It's wacky. It's fun. It's also serious at times. And I think that so far, this OVA we just watched is really putting this show kind of towards my top.
Damn.
I'm not gonna say the top. There's a list, but as far as as far as now bumping this baby up, it's on there.
Good.
It's making me so happy, dude. I love how wacky it is. I love how fun it is. I love Dom so much.
Me too.
I just love how much shit he went through on this.
Right.
Oh man, there's so many times where he was just like, what?
Right. Just one after the other.
I have a question,
to
please.
Absolute breaking point, man.
It's so great. He's a great character.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, I can't wait to watch more of these. Like I said, we probably won't. We may talk about some of the other ones.
Right. Maybe not dedicate an entire episode to each one.
Right. We'll touch
definitely
on it.
Touch back on it.
But for the end, though, the culmination at the very end, I do want to talk about that.
We have to.
Okay, that's
We're
good.
We're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to. Okay. I'm glad to hear that. I love that there is more. I was so worried that it would, because once the show ended, like I told you, I was like, I know this is gonna end, and I am nervous. This is another anime where it just ends, and it ends very nicely, but it leaves me wanting just a little bit more. But I think that these OVAs are gonna be that for me, which is so interesting and so fun. I'm excited about it, and I feel like I could be wrong, but I never heard about this show.
Yeah, no.
I'm not sure if it's just like underrated, or if no one really knows about it, or if people don't like it. But
I'd say it's more well known to like a bunch of old heads, probably. Because I mean, it was evidently popular enough to be referenced in like multiple different shows.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
But other than that, I mean, you gotta look for it.
Okay, hey, and that's all I was saying was is if it's just because it's underrated because no one really knows about it, let this be my opportunity to say. And I know we've already converted probably one or two people to watch this show. Yeah. If you haven't, I mean, this show is 100% not for everyone. I think, but it is fun. I get a couple of good laughs out of it, and I think it's an interesting kind of like space themed anime. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I feel like I liked Outlaw Star a lot, and I feel like it is different than Outlaw Star.
Right.
I don't want to compare them, but it has a similar vibe. And just like with Outlaw Star, how it ended, and I kind of wish there was a little bit more. This is kind of giving me that. So I'm like, oh man, it's kind of scratching that itch a little bit. Anyways, so go check it out. It's really cool.
Please.
As we're ending this podcast, we are recording this on a Thursday, and apparently there's going to be a lunar eclipse happening.
Yeah.
So the moon's going to turn blood red. So I kind of want to go outside and check that out later tonight. So yeah, kind of excited about that.
Give it a gander.
I just hope it's not cloudy.
Oh yeah, that would.
I just know that I think it's supposed to be it's supposed to rain tomorrow. I think.
Ooh.
So it's supposed to storm Saturday.
Shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anyways,
Yeah.
Oh, and then just to kind of also to date this episode as well for anybody. Again, I don't think there's anybody that listens to this podcast that is super big into Helldivers.
Mhm.
There may be a percentage of you out there.
Oh yeah.
I'm a big Helldivers 2 fan. I
Mhm.
play it all the time. It's one of my favorite games.
Right.
As of recently, I just have fallen in love with it. I've talked about it here on this show occasionally. So for anybody who does care, let us all
We lost another one.
let us all do a super Earth salute for Moridesh,
Mhm.
the second planet to be taken by the Meridian Singularity.
Yep. Gone for good.
We almost finished the major order to protect, to put a blockade around the Singularity to stop it from moving, but we didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
So what they were saying was that I think it's gonna potentially be stopped moving forward, but not without the sacrifice of Moridesh.
Woof.
So if you got family on Moridesh haven't evacuated yet, it's gone now.
Yep.
I think.
Sorry about it.
Sorry about it. But it's the breaks.
The singularity do be singularity.
Yeah, the Singularity be sucking these bitches up. But anyways, you know where to find us.
Mhm.
If you
know our
don't,
names.
you know our names. You know how to get in touch with us. As I've been saying the past episode or two, I would appreciate it if you go check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and like the episodes whenever you listen to them. We're on there. You can type in @Hindsight Studios in the search bar, or you can type in youtube.com/@Hindsight Studios, and you can find us there. And we'd appreciate it if you were to give us a good subscribe, and you can like these episodes. It would mean the world to me. We really appreciate you listening, as always. And until next week,
See you.
bye-bye.